Alright, ladies and gentlemen, it is time once again for my weekend art blog. Again, I wasn't here yesterday, but we're gonna jump right into it. This is my last show of the month, so it is time for me to try and mash up some cartoons. Now, I got some feedback from Facebook as well as family and friends. Not a lot of comments on the videos yet, but we'll get there. But the vote seems to be for me to try and draw Zarya from Overwatch in a Dragon Ball Z style. So for my very first official fan art fusion, we are drawing Zarya DBZ style. Just pull up some good reference material. And I think I'm gonna go with the because they did change art styles a bit throughout the show, right? So I'm thinking I'm gonna go with the Cell Saga era Dragon Ball Z, right? And then we're gonna get. It's actually interesting to watch a show change over time. You can see subtle changes in the way they draw the characters overall, but then sometimes they do drastic changes, like for instance the difference between Batman the Animated Series, early. Oh, when did they do that art style change? Anyways, they did one a real drastic art style change. Can't miss it. Towards the end of it, I think they only had 1 or 2 seasons after the art change, maybe 3. But it was real interesting to see them take that in a completely different direction. So, anyway, that being said, let's get on with it. So, gotta rearrange my desk a little bit. I was sculpting a leg mere moments ago. Alright, now Zarya. She's big. She's a big, beautiful woman. And she wants to hug you like big fuzzy Siberian bear, something like that. I don't remember how the quote goes. Let's see. Whew, this is gonna be a challenge for sure. Okay, so let's start with the face, I'll start with the body and the pose, of course. But I think when I get to the details, I'm just gonna start with the face. So, anyways, pose. We're gonna give her a wait. Where is my pen again? Alright, everything's responsive here. Oh, I'm set on eraser. There it is. There we are. Okay, cool. Technical issues all aside, and we are ready to rock. So, we're going to give her the standard fists clenched kind of pose. She's got the nice broad shoulders. I put the spine a little too close there. And she's going to say, "Hit me," as she says. And so she's bracing. She's kind of hunched forward. Got her head here. They do this pose in Dragon Ball Z a lot too when they start powering up. And then she's got the wide hips because she is a woman. Bending at the knees. Get the feet in there. And we'll, of course, adjust this as we need to. Once we get going. Yeah, because already that leg looks a little off. That is okay. So we're going to pump that up. Pump you up. I am Hans and I am Franz. Man, I don't know. Something about Zarya. Well, people with accents in general. I get pretty into the accents. I am impressionable. Somebody starts doing I watch a movie with a British character, and all of a sudden I start speaking with a bit softer and maybe a bit of a British accent. And it's just, I don't know why I do it. But Zarya, of course, has the strong Russian accent, which I am not good at. I am not. Now, she has strong chin. Alright, I'm gonna drop that. Let's see. She does have a strong chin, and Goku has a reasonably strong chin, but they don't really do a lot of, like, square-chinned characters. There are a few exceptions. I think there was one of the androids, and of course, Hercule Satan, I think his name was, which I thought was hilarious. It's been a long time since I've watched Dragon Ball Z, actually, now that I think of it. But we're going to try and give her as best a Zarya chin as we can. And then Dragon Ball Z does this thing where, like, all of their heads are like this wide, have this style chin. It's very, their heads are kind of, I don't want to say samey, because they're not really samey, but they're very similar. Like different faces. They've got different, like, minor details. But if you, like, compare Goku's face to, like, Bulma's face, or even like Chi-Chi's face, they've got, like, a very similar head shape, and then just, like, different features and like slightly different proportions on their faces. So, and I think that's kind of interesting. And then she's gonna have, let's see, we're gonna do, give her a nice shout expression if we can. Which kind of starts here and then stretch back. Basically like that. And And Zarya has a prominent nose. You know, Trunks kind of has a prominent nose too, now that I think of it. Goku has a nose, of course. Vegeta has a very prominent nose, but some characters have bigger noses than others. And I feel like Zarya's is a pretty strong nose. And then kind of gonna be that shape. I'll refine it some more once we get into the next layer, of course. And then she's got these big, thick, beautiful eyebrows. Which is just fine for Dragon Ball Z. Now, her eye shape is a little different, and of course, Dragon Ball Z has kind of a signature eye shape that I'm going to go for here. Which is much more like this. That other one here is a little nutty looking. Something's wrong with my eraser. I think I messed. Oh yeah, I messed with it. I've made it soft eraser. New hard eraser. I like to fully erase things. But you know that classic eye shape that has influenced so many anime to come after it. And then Zarya has this really rad scar right about here. And of course we'll refine that as well when we get into the next layer. I love layers, being able to like work on things and then go back and change them, you know, or just build up on things. It feels very a lot like sculpting to a certain extent, because you get to, you know, build on whatever you had going on last. Now the hair is going to be tricky because Dragon Ball Z has very specific hair. Zarya has very specific hair. And I think her hairstyle could definitely fit onto a Dragon Ball Z character. But I want to make sure that I do it right. Especially when I'm going for this like Super Saiyan kind of growl or yell that they do. So I'm going to start with the hairline. And she's just got that kind of hairline going all the way down. I should probably add her ears, now that I'm thinking of it. Of course, Dragon Ball Z ears are huge and ridiculous. But Zarya's ears aren't all that small either. Because again, she is strong, independent woman and does not need man. I'm sure she could get one if she wanted one. She's like, if I want a man, I'm gonna get a man. However, what is that song? I don't know that song. I heard it once. Anyway, so that's just about how Zarya's hair goes. And we're gonna go ahead and fix this side up too, because that side is looking a little rough. Just bring that same hairline all the way over here. And then from about from about here, I think it is where it starts going over to the side. And so we're just gonna this is the part where we start making big distinct shapes. Because like this is a shape. And then each of these is going to be a shape. This one's the big swoop that comes across here. You see? And it kind of just layers on from there. So I'm going to just, again, this is sort of my quick and dirty pass. And then this hair actually came here. And I think this is kind of the part where I start adding more of that Dragon Ball Z style, hopefully. Because from there, her hair just kind of comes in these big old tufts. Let me see if I can find a good shot of her hair from the other end. Yeah, it pretty much just does that. And I want to avoid making it look too much like sombras, because it isn't sombras. Although they do have a similar, like the side of the head right here, kind of is similar on both of them. So yeah, from here it's just filling out the hair. And then she has one other spike there. And she says, hit me. So that's your basic Zarya face in DBZ. There's not a ton to it actually. You know, you just gotta make sure you get all the basics, all her basic details and shapes and stuff. And then I gotta go in and give her the cheeks, because they do these cheek lines that kind of help define things for DBZ characters, especially. Everybody's got them. You look at it. Everybody's got them somewhere. They're these big weird lines, and every single character's got them. And I could make the eyes a little bigger, or the pupils rather, part of the eyes, but I can make those bigger. They don't fill them in DBZ unless there's something wrong with you. Everybody's got those big empty pupils. If you have the black dot in your eye, then that means you're a robot or a zombie or whatever. But that's just the style. Okay, now time to fix the nose. It's gonna have a little shading in there. Like that. And then that's about right for the nose. Alright, now, Zarya's armor is actually a lot more... I want to say it's more detailed than they usually do in Dragon Ball Z, but I'm not an expert on Dragon Ball Z, so we're just gonna say we're just gonna simplify this just a little bit. So her shoulders are up here. She's actually doing like this sort of a pose, right? Which means, and she's got this tank top and this collar thing, which means her like neck collar is about here. And then her big beefy shoulders are gonna be there because her chest is here. Now, of course, she's a woman, so I gotta kind of make sure. And this is another part that's probably gonna be different than Dragon Ball Z, and I gotta make sure that I do, you know, the female chest bits properly. Not really sure what the appropriate term for those are. But you know what I'm talking about. And it kind of looks like, checking out my reference material, of course, Google is your best friend. Checking it out for females. They don't have a ton of female fighters, but of course there's Chi-Chi. And her breasts are not really very exaggerated. At least not in the show. You know, fan art notwithstanding. But I think that has to do with her outfit. And I think a lot of it has to do with how they handle lights and shadows. So it's a lot less of like making them their own shapes. But unfortunately, the way Zarya's armor is, they're kind of their own shapes. So she's got these big shapes here on her. She's got a breastplate for her breasts. Because she's leaning forward, and then she's got this like belt strap going on. And I'm gonna have to handle, I think, this area with some lights and shadows, which is fine. Okay, so she's got that. She's got her big ol' arms. Because she has all the muscles. And then she's got these really awesome gauntlets. And then her fist is going to be right there. And we're kind of just gonna mirror it on this side because that's kind of how the pose is. It's gonna be similar, maybe not exactly mirrored, but definitely similar. And it comes in, and then her fist is roughly there. Then, of course, she's got this bit that wraps around, and of course, we've got to add in her ribs. And this is a part that's going to get tricky with the Dragon Ball Z style, too. Is the way they do the chest bits. It's a lot more angular because they just kind of bring it in like that, you know? And then, you know, Goku and a lot of the other characters, they really have kind of high waists. High-waisted clothes. The belt is really high. You know, all that kind of stuff. But we're gonna do our best to give Zarya the more of that DBZ treatment. She's got her lifter, her like power lifter belt, which is an interesting touch, and it does seem basically like a regular, you know, like weightlifting belt. And of course we're gonna put it up a little bit higher than normal because, again, she's crouched over, but also, you know, DBZ World. They all have really high belts. Like, just look, you'll see it. But I thought it was interesting that she's got this like power lifter belt on, and it's average. It's not like it's not she's not average at all, of course, but like it's a bit of just normal thing, normal real world kind of thing in what otherwise is this fantastic, you know, super strong, superhuman person. And I thought that was really interesting because um, it's this like minor detail that really makes the character, I think, makes the character a little more likable and a little more human in a game that's otherwise populated with superhumans and crazy people. Um, like Diva's a pro gamer, right? And she streams, and that's kind of what humanizes her, is that she streams and she plays video games like, you know, like normal people, like I do. Um, and it's like, oh yeah, that's relatable, that's neat. But then you look at her defense matrix, and she's shooting down. Defense matrix like allows her to shoot down, you know, like thousands of bullets potentially. And we don't know how much of that is being processed by her onboard computers and things, and how much of that is really just her actions per minute and what she's capable of as a person. And I'm like, Diva's not human, guys. Diva's not. She's a crazy like alien gamer that like her brain is some sort of supercomputer that can process and react to, you know, hundreds and thousands of bullets and shoot them out of the air. Because if you look at the description on Defense Matrix, that's what she's doing. Is shooting. She's shooting Bastion shots out of the air. She's shooting missiles so hard and so fast that she just like blows the explosions away. Um, you know, it's insane. It's insane to think about. Now, functionally, of course, that's not really what's happening, but like that's what her character does, and I find that to be crazy. Okay, so next she's got these giant boots, and that's really actually pretty fine with a Dragon Ball Z style, because Goku has these big baggy pants, and like the rest of her armor, the rest of Zarya's armor fits pretty well, um, in the style we're going for. It's nothing too outlandish. Of course, she's got her big circle things. I don't even know what these, like, some of the bits on her armor are even for. You know, it's like, are they just there for looks? Like this circle thing on her armor, does she like plug it into something or what? Because it looks like you plug something into her like thigh pads. Um, but I could be completely wrong there. And then again, she actually does have kind of baggy or thick clothing. It's not necessarily baggy, but definitely thick clothing in here. And then we need to bring this leg in a little bit because she's doing her best taunt, you know, hit me, right? Hit me, baby, one more time. I will never do that again. It's fine, don't worry. And then, you know, in Dragon Ball Z land, Goku has really pointy shoes. But Zarya does not have pointy shoes, so we're not going to give her pointy shoes. We're going to give her normal, big old Zarya lady stomping boots. Or, she is a lady and she stomps with her boots, is what I meant to say. And of course she has these massive cleats on her boots because action wear. And then I think for the rough pass, I'm just going to cheat it and copy this over, like just flip it. It's all about being efficient. Transform, flip horizontal. Ooh. That hooks into about there. Deselect that, hide that. Ooh, no, don't hide that layer. Merge with layer below, hide that layer, zoom out a little bit. Let's see what we're looking at. And not bad. Not too bad. I think that arm on this side is a little small. I think I'm just going to do the same kind of copy paste deal we did with the leg with this arm. Let's just do that, copy paste, because I like the arm there better. There we go. Deselect that, go on the layer below. Just erase out a bunch of junk. do a little bit of fixing. And there we go. Now she's got a tattoo on this arm, and we'll take care of that as well in another pass. So we'll make a new layer and get started on that. And I think now that you've seen a little bit of, man, I gotta increase that torso size too, I think. Because she looks just a bit like her legs are too long, or like she's not really popping out. That's better. Nah, not really. No, her torso's actually, it's, you know what? She's got really thick legs. Compared to her torso. We're gonna leave it. We're gonna leave it. See how it looks after. Alright, so this is the part, I think, where I'm gonna pop on some tunes. And I'm gonna thank Retune for, ooh, that's a little loud. Thank Retune for posting some nice royalty-free music for you and I to enjoy. And I'm just gonna draw from here. Alright, guys, that is just about all the time I have for today. I will be finishing this up in the future, um, possibly in future streams if you guys liked it. But this is gonna be it for today's stream and the first like fan art fusion piece. So hopefully, you liked seeing me try and draw Zarya in a little different style than you're used to seeing her in, and leave a like and subscribe if you like the video. If you've got any ideas for the next month's fan art fusion, as always, feel free to leave a comment in the comment section below when the video gets archived, and I will see you all next time.